Let's be real for a second. What if that sales playbook you've been using is, well, totally obsolete? If you feel like you're just hitting a brick wall with your techniques, I'm here to tell you it's not you. It's that the game has completely changed. So, in this explainer, we're going to tear up that old script about pitching and introduce a brand new one, the art of modern problem solving. Let's get into it.
You ever have one of those days or weeks where this question is just rattling around in your head? You put all this time and energy into a deal, you do everything right, and you still hear no. Rejection after rejection, and you're left wondering, what on earth am I doing wrong? Well, here's the thing. It's not about trying harder. It's about thinking differently. The entire sales landscape has shifted, and it is time your strategy did too.
And this is the absolute heart of the change. We're throwing out that old school mantra of always be closing. You know, the one that's all about the seller, the pressure, the close, and we're replacing it with something new. Always be curious. Now, this isn't just swapping out a few words. It's a total change in your perspective. It's about turning the spotlight away from your sales target and pointing it directly at your customer's needs.
So let's start right there with the foundation, building a whole new sales mindset. Because before you even think about a call or an email, the most important work you have to do is internal. It's about completely changing your goal from just closing a deal to genuinely, deeply understanding your customer's problems.
And this quote from Nancy Joseph just nails it. Focusing on the client's why, that's not just some feel-good practice. It is a massive strategic advantage. When you get their why, you can connect your solution directly to their pain points, and suddenly it feels like a total necessity, not just another option on the table.
Okay, so now let's talk about laying the right groundwork. A really great sales conversation doesn't just happen. It actually begins long before you ever pick up the phone. It's all about the prep work you do beforehand that makes you look like a valuable partner instead of just another vendor.
And that preparation really boils down to 3 critical steps. First, you have got to know exactly who your ideal customer is. I mean, who gets the most out of what you offer. Second, you have to dig deep and discover their pain points. What are the real nagging challenges they deal with every single day? And third, you need to master your value proposition so you can explain your solution in a heartbeat.
So what exactly is a value proposition? Think of it as the ultimate test of your entire pitch. It's not a boring list of features. It's a short, powerful statement that answers the one question every customer is thinking: why should I care? If you can't nail that, you've pretty much lost them before you've even started.
All right, you've done your homework, now it's showtime. Let's talk about mastering the actual conversation. This is where that curiosity we talked about really comes to life. It's how you turn a one-sided pitch into a real two-way dialogue. It's about asking, not just telling.
And this example shows you the difference perfectly. So let's say you're talking to Anna, who's a shipper. If you ask a closed-ended question like, "Are you happy with your shipments?" you're probably going to get a yes or no. Conversation over. But what if you ask an open-ended question like, "Anna, what don't you like about the progression of your shipments?" See? Now you're inviting her to open up, to share her real frustrations, and that's how you uncover the exact problem you can solve.
Now here's another super powerful technique. It's called mirroring. And just like David Marshall says, all you do is repeat the last few words of what your prospect just said. So if they say, "We're really struggling with lead generation," you just pause and say, "Struggling with lead generation?" It's so simple, but it shows you're paying attention and helps build trust almost instantly.
So, if you remember one thing from this section, let it be this: you have to reframe your goal. You are not a product pusher. You are a problem solver. The second you embrace that mindset, the whole dynamic changes. The pressure just melts away, and you can start having a real conversation.
Okay, so you've dug in, you've found the real problem. Now what? It's time to present your solution. But how do you do it in a way that actually connects with them, that shows real value instead of just rattling off features and benefits?
Well, the answer, as Sean Heng points out, is something we all instinctively get: stories. Look, facts and figures are fine, but stories are what persuade people. A good story can make your solution feel real, turning it from just an idea into something tangible they can see themselves using.
And you don't have to be some master novelist to do this. The structure is super simple. The hero of your story is always your customer. The challenge they have to overcome is their pain point. Your product or service, that's the special tool that helps them on their quest. And the victory is the amazing outcome they achieve. When you frame your pitch this way, the customer becomes the star of the show, not your company.
And of course, you've got to adapt how you talk to people.
If you're with an amiable customer, you build that connection with stories. You might say, I worked with another client who felt the exact same way. For an analytical type, you lead with hard facts. Our data shows a 30% jump in efficiency. For the assertive customer, just get to the point. The bottom line is, we can fix this for you. And with an expressive person, you match their vibe. I am so excited to show you how this is going to change everything. Tailoring your style, it makes all the difference.
All right, we've built the mindset, we've done the prep, we've mastered the conversation. Now it's time for the final stage, closing the deal. But in this new playbook, closing isn't about pressure. It's just the natural, logical end to a problem you've solved well. It comes from a place of genuine confidence.
A huge part of that confidence comes from understanding your ROAS, or your return on sales effort. Basically, you have to start treating your time like it's your most valuable asset. Is spending 10 hours on a prospect with a tiny budget and only a 10% chance of closing a good use of your time? Absolutely not. ROAS forces you to be smart and focus your energy where it'll actually count.
And that forces you to ask yourself a really tough but really important question. You have to be willing to ask, is this prospect truly a good fit for us? See, the goal isn't to sell to everybody. The goal is to sell to the right customers, the ones who are going to get massive value from your solution and stick around for the long haul.
I want you to really let this next idea sink in. A no from the wrong customer is not a failure. It's a win. It's a strategic move that saves both you and them a ton of future headaches. And it frees you up to find the people you can really help. Knowing when to walk away is one of the biggest signs of a true sales pro.
So how do you know when the moment is right to close? Well, you look for these green lights. The customer finally sees how costly it is to not change. All the key players, the decision makers, are in the room. You've checked off every single one of their pain points. And you've created a little bit of healthy urgency, a little fear of missing out. When all those boxes are ticked, the close feels easy and natural.
So, we're going to leave you with one final question to think about. At the end of the day, when you really get down to it, what's your true goal? Are you just trying to make a sale, or are you actually trying to solve a problem? The answer to that question will define pretty much all of your success in the modern world of sales.